Hey guys, Sundown Rider here. This is going to be my chapter review to Nanatsu no Taizai, or the 7 Deadly Sins, 242, 7 Deadly Sins End. Now, a lot of people thought that Nanatsu no Taizai was going to finish this week, like, oh, 7 Deadly Sins End, it's going to be done, we're done and dusted, And I was like, bruh, y'all need to calm down a bit, It's obvious, it was obvious then as well, that the whole of Nanatsu no Taizai wasn't going to finish today. It wasn't going to finish a week from last week, It was just crazy. So like, let's get into the chapter. I liked it. It was good, but it wasn't like an awesome chapter. I didn't think it was particularly good. It was just semi decent. It was about a 6, 7, and then the end, the implications at the end. That's gonna be dope for like the chapters coming. But this chapter, in and of itself, a standalone chapter, was like we kind of like everything we saw in this chapter. If you look at my last review, and you like, if you sit through the last like couple minutes of my last review, that's what this chapter was. I called almost every bit of this chapter. I was like, yeah, okay, that's pretty much what this chapter was. So the first 8 pages or so were really just showing us Merlin coming to grips with everything. She learns about Gloxinia, Dolo staying back. She learns that Galtha got wrecked. She learns about Diane's shrinkage. And then she goes on to say that any normal human would have died when she sees Galtha, and she jokes about Diane being in her midget form and stuff. So really, all this kind of interaction really told me straight away in the first 8 pages of the chapter that Diane, Galtha, and Merlin were going to be fine. She didn't seem to be too focused or angry about it, so or really concerned about it. So that part, actually, I was a little bit disappointed, because they were all pretty much able to revert back to their pre-Chandler like contact state, apart from Galtha. My boy Galtha is like borderline dead right now. He's breathing in the corner like, please God help me. So Galtha's pretty much like he needs to be fixed up. But Merlin at the end, she's fine, and Diane gets reverted. So actually I want to bring that up. Even Merlin was able to revert back to her normal form after dispelling the magic seal which Chandler placed on her with his she cancels it out with absolute cancel. Excuse me. So I'm not quite sure how she cancelled it out with absolute cancel, because absolute cancel is a magical ability, and her magic had been sealed, which is why she was in her little Loli form. So she basically, what I'm saying is, she shouldn't have been able to use absolute cancel to cancel magic seal, even though she did. So I'm not sure how she did that. We then go on to Escanor. Lolicon confirmed. I was like, what, bruh? I was like, my boy, well, is it Nakaba? Yeah, it's Nakaba. He needs to slow his roll and calm down a bit, man. I ain't going to jail for nobody. And Escanor was like, he's breathing heavy when he's seeing friggin' Merlin in her child form. And I was like, okay, realistically speaking, Escanor's just like a little bit hype, because he's just seeing Merlin in a totally different form to what he usually sees her as, where she's like high and mighty and she's proud, and now she's like in a completely different form, and she's cute and adorable. So it was just funny to see that. That wasn't anything too weird. We'll get on to the weird part later. The sins closest we then see to Meliodas are all feeling unwell for some reason. And Merlin tells us that it's because of the miasma that Meliodas is letting off, he's emitting. And he's emitting a shit ton of it. Basically, it's just a lot of negative energy, and it's affecting all the other sins. And the only people that are unaffected by this are Merlin, Elizabeth, and then get this is a weird one. Hawk is the third person that this miasma isn't affecting. So Merlin, you understand that she's like Belialuin's daughter. She's possibly of demonic descent. Elizabeth is a high-ranking goddess, and Hawk, who the freak is a Hawk? How the hell is he totally fine? And it must be possibly because he ingested some demonic flesh or something a while ago, so maybe he's a little bit okay with it. But if someone like Escanor is being affected by it, I was like, yo, okay, maybe Hawk's a little bit more important than we think he is. Elizabeth then takes Meliodas outside, which was, a bright idea. She wanted to get him away from the rest of the sins and stuff, because they were all being affected by it. But once again, it's like, bro, were you even thinking, Elizabeth? Chandler's still outside. He just slew freaking Glocks and Dolo, and he's gonna follow you guys, And she's like, yeah, I'll just take him outside where we're completely protected, It's like, don't be stupid, man. So then we come back to Escanor, who, like I said, he doesn't seem to be very well at all. His hesitation when Merlin asked him, like, how you doing? He was like, I'm good, man. And I was like, okay, that's all right. But Escanor does seem to be still hurt from what Meliodas did to him while they were fighting, Meliodas versus the One. So he does seem to actually be not 100% fit yet, and I'm not sure. I'm hoping he does get back to 100% fitness. I don't want this to be that thing where Meliodas left lasting scars or damage on Escanor. I want him to be fine, and I think it might have just been the miasma affecting Escanor. So maybe it was that, but Hawk's a little bit where he's like, "Oh, that pride though." I was like, "Yo, Hawk going in on that." That was funny. I like that part of the chapter, and then we come on to the weirdest part of the chapter, which is did Ban and Elaine bang in this chapter? Did they get it on? I've got nothing else to say. Boy don't want to go to prison. He wants to stay free. Moving on. So Merlin is back in possession of her sacred treasure, Olden, after it goes missing in the boar's hat. Okay. Now that's not so much of a big thing, Okay, she found the sacred treasure again. It was always there. She was gonna find it. It's not a big thing. But there's a small bit of trivia that I want to address, just about Olden in general. Now Olden is named after Merlin's mother in Welsh mythology. We know that. Okay. Merlin's sacred treasure, though, Merlin's sacred treasure is also referred to as the morning star. The morning star in Latin is Lucifer. Lucifer is the morning star, the light begetting one, or something like that, the light source, or some shit like that. So it's the morning star. Lucifer, in mythology, may have fathered Merlin. They say that Merlin was fathered by Lucifer. I'm not sure who they is. I read this up somewhere. Okay, so the whole thing is Olden is Merlin's mother. But Merlin's sacred treasure is also named after the morning star, which is Lucifer. So this may, if you read further into it, this may talk about the lineage of Merlin. But they all refer to Merlin as Belialuin's daughter. So maybe Lucifer, Belialuin, something, I don't know. But yeah, that's just a heads up, just think about it. So then we get confirmation this chapter that Chandler can indeed negate Escanor's sunshine. He flies in, and Escanor he's in a semi bulky form because it's dusk, and he's like coming down to nighttime, so he's just losing mass as he's going down. But he's still quite bulky, and as soon as Chandler comes into the panel, into where they are, he reduces himself to his normal human form, and he's just really skinny and everything. So we see that. But then again, when you think about it, we've seen Escanor assume his full sunshine form during the night before, when he was fighting Galtha, when he visualized Merlin as his son. So it's not a complete nerf to Escanor, but that does seem to be a way to counter him. If you got Chandler coming up, he's going to bring his complete darkness with him, and then Escanor's out of the battle. We also see that, actually no, this is a little gripe I had of this chapter. Well, it wasn't really a gripe, I was just confused. Hawk is the one who says that Meliodas has assumed his form of Meliodas back when he was leader of the Ten Commandments. Now, he shouldn't know that because he wasn't around, or he wouldn't know of Meliodas' form when he was part of the Ten Commandments, because Hawk wasn't there. Now, the only other way he'd know is if he just friggin' copied what Merlin said a few chapters ago when Meliodas fought the One, and she's like, "Oh, Meliodas has assumed his Ten Commandments form." So unless he's just saying that again, but then it would add nothing to the story for him to just repeat what Merlin said, because you've not added anything to the story. What this hints is that Hawk may actually know a bit more about Meliodas, and maybe may have a deeper relationship with Meliodas. You have to realize that Hawk was the first person with Meliodas that we saw in this entire thing. So I don't exactly know where Hawk is from, what he is exactly, but some mysterious shit is going around with Hawk, and I'm onto it, man. But I don't really know why Hawk would know that. But it does seem like he's just copying what Merlin says, which was a bit like, we didn't need that addition. So then we come to Meliodas, who's assumed his Ten Commandments form, and you can see his cold gaze, his blackened off eyes, and then he says, "You were my precious comrades," to the 7 deadly sins, which shows that he's probably gone dark side. He has gone dark side. But he's not gone too dark side, which is shown by the fact that he let the sins live. He didn't slaughter them on the spot. He didn't kill him. He's still trying to actually save Elizabeth, a point I'll come on to next. His memories are all intact. However, Elizabeth does mention, and she does notice how wrong he feels. She's like, he's just like back then, which is must have been like prior to him actually meeting her and getting to know her. So he's back like he was back in the Ten Commandments ruling days and stuff like that. So then we come on to Meliodas. He's like, yeah, I want to still save Elizabeth, and I don't want the sins to follow me, so we're disbanded and stuff like that. So what does he intend to do? Where is the story going? So there's two pathways I can see at this moment in time. He's either going to go to Zeldris, Meliodas, He's going to go to Zeldris, allow him to be king, whilst asking him a favor in return. He's like, okay, I'll let you be king if you rid Elizabeth of the curse. This is unlikely for a variety of reasons, the best one being that Zeldris would obviously jump at the chance of becoming Demon King. But this would be like a conditional offer, like, you save Elizabeth, I'll give you the title of Demon King, which would make it sound like Meliodas is just kind of handing him that offer, you know, and handing him that role. And Zeldris wouldn't be cool with that. He'd be like, bitch, I'm the best person for the option of Demon King, you know. I'm not just going to be handed the role, I'm going to take it. So I doubt that's going to be the way it's going to go. The second thing is Meliodas could go there to assume his title of Demon King, and he himself rids Elizabeth of her curse. Then we come to the question of, could he rid himself of his own curse, or does it require another person as strong as he is, as strong as the Demon King or the Supreme Deity, to get rid of his curse? So far as we know, Meliodas just wants to get rid of Elizabeth's curse. He hasn't really said anything about getting rid of his own one. And also, Zeldris would never, ever just lie down on his back and allow Meliodas to assume reign without any form of resistance. You know, there is going to be blood somewhere or another between Zeldris and Meliodas, especially considering Meliodas did kill Zeldris' lover, Gelda, the vampire lady. If you haven't seen those, check it out on the Vampire of Edinburgh. Like 3 chapters, I've forgotten which chapters exactly they were, but Meliodas does actually kill Gelda, which was Zeldris' lover. But she does ask him to kill her, but obviously Zeldris won't see it that way. So Zeldris' lover was taken out by Meliodas. Zeldris hates Meliodas for being a traitor to the Demon Clan, and there will be blood, that's what I'm saying. And Meliodas has no time to lose if he wants to help Elizabeth to survive. She's only got like 2 days left. So the next chapter is called Thus He Embarked on His Journey. Now, this could be either about Meliodas, this could be about Ban, this could be about Arthur. Either way, fun times ahead. What I assume is going to happen is the sins are going to have to couple. I've already mentioned this last chapter, actually, but I'll go through it again. I don't think I mentioned Arthur. I forgot about that part. But the sins are going to couple up with Arthur. Arthur's going to go get his Excalibur. Maybe this is where Ban's Zero Sign, I forgot what the move is called. I think it's called Zero Sign technique can come in handy. You can go in and steal Excalibur with Arthur. I think Ban will actually maybe try and he can obviously help Arthur get Excalibur, but he'd be better used or more useful to other people if he goes and finds freaking Kurashus, which I think might be where the Wild Fangs and all them are buried at this moment in time. Merlin seems to be fine. She needs to help Escanor kind of rehab, get that miasma out of him. She needs to help Gartha get back into business. Diane seems to be okay, and King seems to be okay. So yeah, that either way, fun times ahead. It's going to be really good going onwards. This chapter was okay. I'd give it like a 6.5. It was setting up what's going to happen later on, so it's good stuff. But yeah, that's it for this chapter. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what you guys thought about Hawk and like what he was saying. I think maybe he was just repeating what Merlin was saying, but that kind of, it just seemed a bit cheap, you know. We don't need you to repeat what Merlin said. We know that already. So I didn't see the point of that. But yeah, now Meliodas has gone dark side, and he's going to go and try and help and save Elizabeth. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys in a bit.